Okay, back to Aviary Attorney. Here lies the home of photographer guy. So this is the studio of the famous photographer. Shall we knock? Wait, there's a note on the door. Ahem! The magnificent and marvelous artist, Monsieur Robito de Rubino, is currently out on an artistic expedition. He shall return when his muse sees fit. When his muse sees fit? What does that even mean? I think it means he is a pretentious bird brain. But in any case, the artist seems to be out. What shall we do now? We should knock anyway. Alright, I don't see the harm. No, it doesn't look like he's in, Falcon. We should break in. What? Are you serious? Maybe. Monsieur J.J. Falcon, I would have thought that a man of justice like yourself would be against such reckless displays of unlawful barbarism. You're right. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over. It's a brilliant suggestion. Stand back, I'm barging the door down. Wait, just like that? Shouldn't we discuss this first? What in bird Jesus' name was that? You said you wanted to break in. I thought we could find an open window. I didn't think you would turn into a bird-sized cannonball. Well, now that we're here, we ought to make the most of it. This place is quite something. It's very... swanky? I was going to say ostentatious. Let's just swanky talk for swanky. We don't have time for this. The sound of a door being smashed in could be drawing unwanted attention. We should find anything that may help our case and get out. I see a bourgeoisie tigress in profile. I see a finely dressed dandy fellow upon a horse. This appears to be a photograph of a ladder, symbolic of climbing towards success, perhaps? It looks more like a step ladder to me. Oh no, we're not getting into that old argument. A beautiful picture of the Paris skyline. Given the angle, this must have been taken from Notre Dame Cathedral itself. I see paints, inks, and dyes. I'm not quite sure what the clear liquid in the bottle is. I could taste test it. You could, but we don't have time for a hospital visit right now. So let's not. A lighthouse? No, wait. It's a man in a top hat. Actually, if I squint and turn my head sideways, it's a black smudge falcon. This is a tiny photograph of what appears to be a jail cell. That reminds me, how illegal is this? You know, breaking and entering, rifling through a person's belongings? I'm not going to lie to you, Sparrowson. If we're caught, we will be spending the next 20 years with a number instead of a name. I call 24601. Don't be daft, Sparrowson. You can't call prison numbers. Damn, I wanted that one. This is a picture of a fence. It's a fancy photograph. It leaves the viewer defenseless. Out of all the pictures here, I would pick it as my favorite. Okay, I'm done. No more fence puns. A picture of a sailing ship on a windy day. Hey, Falcon, look! What? It's just an easel. No, look what's on the easel. Oh, wow. This must be a copy of the photograph from the evening of the murder. There's no question about it. I see a housemaid named Cataline, and I think that's Senor Pertois, Cataline's father. So, what shall we do? Do we just take this? We've come this far. We may as well borrow it. Is there anything else we need to do here? Yep. A chandelier. You should get one of those for the office. I don't have the money for that sort of luxury. I think we're done snooping. Let's get out of here before we draw further attention to ourselves. Sounds good to me. Uh-oh. Oh, mon Dieu. What happened to my door? Some kids did it. Little weasel types. We saw them. Yeah, weasels. They were like, let's break into this art guy's house. And we were like, no, weasels. You cannot do that because that would be illegal. And then they were like, we chased them off. That's the important thing. Well, thank you, I suppose. Let's make a move. Trial day is approaching fast. Right, let's go. Falcon and Sparrowson stand inside the marble portière of the Palais de Juste. Just... wow, what did I say there? The Palace of Justice, awaiting the opening of the Tribunal de Grande Instance. Are you nervous, Falcon? Love, we've got this case in the bag. Look at my feathers. See, totally unruffled. Wow, at least one of us is feeling confident. Monsieur Falcon, Petite Sparrowson, is there anything you need me to do? No, we've got a handle on things. Falcon was just telling me how confident he was feeling about the case. That's wonderful. I just know you two will pull through. Let's move it along, fellas. I'll be watching from inside. Do your best for me, Monsieur Falcon. We will. Are we ready? Yeah, we're ready. Alright, settle down, everyone. Settle down. Is everyone here? J.J. Falcon, present. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Rupert Rabington, present. The readiest prosecution, Your Honor. Oh, Don, that's not it. Oh, gosh, where are my notes? Ha! I knew it. Knew what? Rupert and I went to Paris Law School together. He was in all of my classes. Oh, was he smart? No, he always scored the second worst marks in the class. I can only assume that he bumbled through the final exams on the luck of his two rabbit's feet. Unless he improved considerably, you might already have this trial in the bag. That's good to know. Let's say, Sparrowson, if Rupert scored the second lowest marks in the class, then who scored the lowest? I choose to exercise my right to not self-incriminate. Here it is. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Are the jury all present? All present and accounted for, Your Honor. Hey, Falcon, I thought there were only 6 members of the jury for cases like this. Why do I count 8? Oh, those 2 birds with the funny hats are assessors, the associate judges. Everything seems to be in order, so let us begin. The court is now in session for the trial of Dame Cataline de Mao. Prosecution, please call your first witness to the stand. Oh gosh, are we there already? Okay, I choose to call the officer in charge of the murder investigation, Inspector Voltaire, to the witness stand. Inspector Voltaire, please approach the stand and recite the oath. As you will, Your Honor. I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Monsieur, no, Inspector, please state your, name and occupation for the record. My name is Inspector Jules Voltaire. I am a servant to the law, a scourge of the gutter rats that plague this city. I have enforced the law for over 20 years, and I shall continue until I bring the infamous Viridian killer to justice. My path begins 18 years ago. Let's stick to the questions, Inspector. Of course, Your Honor. Oh, great. I was hoping we could have one of those bumbling, cuddly officers, but instead we're stuck with the lawful goody two-shoes. I bet this guy would turn in his own mother if he saw her littering. So, Inspector, is it true that you are the lead investigator on this case? That is correct. I was also among the first to arrive at the scene of the crime. Then perhaps you can walk us through what you witnessed upon your arrival. Absolutely. Just after 7:30, we were alerted and brought to the scene by the housemaid of Baron Rorgai. At the scene of the crime, we found Dame Cataline de Mau. She was standing over the corpse of Monsieur Granois with his blood on her paws. Well, that sounds like an open and shut case in my humble opinion. No more questions, Your Honor. Bloodied paws? Nobody told me that detail. Keep it together, Falcon. You're about to be given the opportunity to cross-examine the witness. That's your opportunity to find flaws in the inspector's testimony. Of course, I know this. You may begin your cross-examination, Monsieur Falcon. I would like to ask about the corpse of Monsieur Granois. Go on. Inspector, could you describe the cut on Monsieur Granois' corpse? Certainly. It was a single vertical slash. It was a fine and deep cut, the sort you would expect to see from a sharpened saber or a sturgeon's knife. Or a cat's claw? Certainly. Wait. You say a saber or knife could have inflicted the wound. Isn't this a line of investigation that's worth pursuing? Don't be daft, Falcon. Did you see or hear anything about a knife or sword at the crime scene? Well, no, I didn't. But it's a possibility, is it not? Without, evidence, it's a pretty unlikely possibility. Let's stick to the facts. What was Monsieur Granois' cause of death? That was immediately obvious when I arrived on the scene. Monsieur Granois had a gaping slash from shoulder to thigh. Blood was everywhere. I spoke with the coroner, and he was in agreement. The frog died from blood loss directly caused by the open wound. I see. I suppose there's no chance of arguing that this was an unrelated injury, huh? Inspector, you say you were alerted to the scene by Baron Rogwai's housemaid. That is correct. What was her name? The housemaid's name was Coraline Duhat. We found her running from Chateau Cranier with tears in her eyes. Coraline, that was the thieving giraffe lady, wasn't it? We questioned her extensively, but we didn't find anything implicative. As far as the police are concerned, Coraline Duhat is not a suspect. Well, could the housemaid have been the murderer? I object. Falcon, you can't go around accusing people of murder willy-nilly. I must agree. I saw and heard nothing that made me suspect the housemaid. No motives, no mean. Falcon, do you have any reason to suspect that the housemaid was a murderer? Well, no, I don't. I was just exploring the possibility. In any case, I saw and heard nothing that made me suspect the housemaid of murder. Inspector, you say Dame Cataline had blood on her paws. Correct. Blood clung to her fur like guilt to a convict. Whose blood was it? Ha! What a question. It was Monsieur Granois, of course. How can you be so sure? I object. This line of questioning is absurd. There was only one murder victim that night, Falcon. The blood on Dame Cataline's paws could only have belonged to one person, Monsieur Granois. And that's when I present the bloody stake. But I also want to see all of the dialogue first. Judge, Falcon's trying to delay the trial by asking pointless questions. I'm afraid the prosecution may have a point, Monsieur Falcon. Do you have any reason to suspect that the blood belonged to someone other than Monsieur Granois? I do not, Your Honor. Wait, Falcon, you're onto something. I am? Yes, I can sense it. Look through... fine. I guess I have to do it. I do, Your Honor. Actually, I have more than suspicion. I have evidence that the blood on Dame Cataline's paws had nothing to do with the murder.
This is foolish time wasting, Falcon. If the blood on Dame Cataline's paws didn't come from the victim, then where did the blood come from?
On the evening of the murder, Dame Cataline ate a bloody rare steak. Is this true, Monsieur Rabington?
Well, in a manner of speaking, I suppose steak may have been on the, menu.
Then, Inspector, would you acknowledge the possibility that the blood on the lady's paws did not belong to the victim, but to the steak?
Well... Wait, don't answer that, Inspector.
It is a possibility.
No!
Intriguing. Very convincing. So, Inspector Volerti, is it possible that you arrested an innocent bystander simply for being a messy eater?
No, hold on just 1 minute, Falcon. You are overlooking something quite crucial. Dame Cataline is an elegant bourgeois kitten. She was no doubt brought up with flawless etiquette and perfect table manners. At the banquet, she would have eaten the steak with a fork in her left hand and a knife in her right, like any proper, civilized animal. How could she have possibly gotten blood on her paws with such good manners?
Oh, that is a good question. Or at least, it would be at any ordinary dinner banquet. But as it happens, something was missing from that particular banquet. Something that forced Dame Cataline to eat with her paws. Dame Cataline was forced to eat steak with her paws because the silverware of the household had been previously stolen.
Is it stolen? I don't recall any mention of that in the police report.
We weren't aware of anything. We weren't aware of anything missing from the residence when we performed the initial investigation. But as it happened, Baron Royguy approached us about this very subject last night.
Ah!
Innocent, perhaps. What a twist! What is the meaning of all this? Bloody steak? Misplaced silverware? Inspector, was your investigation so lax that you overlooked these basic facts in your initial report? Lax? My investigation? Judge, I assure you, I am the most thorough investigative officer on the force.
Then it is amazing that the Parisian police managed to solve any crimes at all. Heh. Oh dear.
Be on your way, Inspector. Perhaps do a little inspecting for your next case. Fine. So be it. Messieurs, until next time. Prosecutor, I trust your next witness is ready.
Yes, of course, Your Honor. I call upon, let's see, Monsieur Robito Rubino, the photographer who attended the banquet on the night of the murder.
Monsieur Robito Rubino, please approach the stand and recite the oath.
How does it go? I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
It's a little cliché, to be perfectly honest.
Could the witness please introduce himself for the court record?
As if anybody in this courtroom does not immediately recognize me. I am the great Monsieur Robito Rubino, cutting-edge photographer and visionary. I don't just take people's pictures, I capture their very essence. Je suis l'artiste, to a certain people. You may have seen my works in the hip magazines, Le Branche, or C'est Chateau. I can send you tweets if you like. What on earth is a tweet?
Bird-to-bird communication. Come on, Falcon. It's the 19th century. Give it the times already. Yes, your works are very, impressive, Monsieur Robino, but let's get down to business. Can you tell us your, activities were on the night of the murder?
Very well. I was hired by Baron Royguy to capture the evening's events. I arrived at 7 in the evening. I pointed my camera and captured the beauty of the banquet in one fantastic photograph. Then I billed Baron Royguy and left.
Like a true artist. And with regards to the photograph itself, who did you photograph?
I thought you might ask. I brought a copy so you could all see for yourselves.
Oh, very good. Let's take a closer look. My word, this is an exquisite picture, isn't it? So let's see, who do we have here? In the middle, we see Baron Orgai, the lion who hosted the event. On the left, we see Signor Protrain de Mal, the father of the defendant, Dame Cataline. And finally, we see the housemaid, Colline Duhat, who I suspect may have snuck into the picture uninvited. As you can see, two people are clearly absent from the photograph. The first is the victim, Monsieur Granois. The second is the defendant, Dame Cataline de Mal. Very suspicious, wouldn't you agree?
Just a moment, Monsieur Rabbington. This proves nothing. So the defendant and the victim were not photographed with the others. That doesn't mean they were in the garden together at that point.
Hold your horses, Falcon. I'm not done yet.
The prosecution may continue.
Behind the photograph subjects, we see a wall clock, with the time set at 7:30. Now, why is that time significant? Well, as Inspector Voltaire told us earlier, that was the exact time the murder took place. Do you see, Falcon? Every suspect has an alibi at the time of the murder, save for Dame Cataline herself. Hey, Falcon, that photograph doesn't seem right. It looks different to the one we borrowed from Rubino's studio.
I see it too. Our photograph shows Count Duhat, Colline Duhat, Dame Cataline, and Signor Pretor. But Monsieur Rubino's photograph shows Baron Orgai, where Dame Cataline should be standing. If we assume that only one photograph is taken, and this demonstrates that one of the photographs must have been edited in some way.
You should just slam that evidence down. Be like, bam, inconsistency. This whole courtroom is out of order. Case closed.
I can't do that.
Well, I suppose you could be a little more delicate with your words.
No, I mean, I can't do that because our evidence was illegally obtained. If I were to present it, Monsieur Rubino would ask how we acquired it, and the whole trial could derail. In a worst-case scenario, I could lose my legal license, and we would be arrested for theft.
Oh, well, we don't want that.
No, we don't. I should tread lightly. Your Honor, I would like to cross-examine the witness. Very well, the defense may proceed.
It's a waste of time, if you ask me. Photographs are rock-solid evidence.
Monsieur Rubino, you say that you arrived at 7 o'clock.
Give or take a couple of minutes, yes.
How do you know that you arrived at 7?
Well, the clock in my house read 6:45 when I left, and the walk to Chateau Cremer was about 15 minutes. I don't claim to be a flawless timekeeper, but I am a professional. I always stick to an appointment.
How long did it take to set up your camera?
It took perhaps 25 minutes to find the shooting location, put together the camera, and ready the film.
So you arrived at 7, and the photograph took place at 7:30, and you spent 25 minutes setting up. That leaves 5 minutes unaccounted for.
Falcon, surely you aren't suggesting that Monsieur Rubino did something, nefarious in this small window of time?
Not at all. I'm just trying to piece together the evening's events.
I spent a little time talking with Baron Orgai when I arrived. That's probably where the rest of the time went.
I would like to ask about the camera itself.
Go on.
How exactly does the camera work?
I'm afraid that is a patented trade secret.
Oh, but it is a mechanical device, yes. You point it at something, and then it clicks and whirs, and out shoots a photograph?
That's quite a crass explanation. It is true that I point and click the camera, but that only creates a negative, a prototype of sorts. I then have to develop the photograph, and that takes time.
How much time, exactly?
Around 4 days. This photograph is hot off the press, if you will.
I suppose that does explain why the Baron hasn't received his photograph yet. Can a camera ever make mistakes?
Now there's a question only an imbecilic, technophobic Philistine could ask. No, monsieur. The camera is a flawless device. My photographs offer a perfect reflection of reality. Nothing more, nothing less.
So if there were an inconsistency between a photograph and reality, what would that imply?
An odd question. I don't think such a thing could ever be possible.
But if one were to see such a thing...
Falcon, stop dancing around the point and tell us what you're trying to get at.
Please understand, Mr. Remington. I'm not overly familiar with the camera, so I'm just asking to get a full understanding.
Very well then.
I'll ask that again when I want to complete the thing. Let's take a closer look at this photograph. I was under the impression that the photographs are flawless reproductions of reality, and yet I see something that is totally at odds with reality. It has a glaring error. It is something that is so blatant I am amazed it has been overlooked.
A glaring error?
Impossible. For you see, whereas reality is in color, this photograph is merely in black and white.
Monsieur Falcon, you are quite the foolish Luddite, aren't you? There is no mistake. All photographs are in black and white.
All of them?
Yes, it is a limitation of photographic technology.
Oh, now I feel silly. One sec. Filter. How do I add a grayscale filter? Nope, that's brightness. There we go. Black and white. I'll go back to that one, I guess, later. Monsieur Rabino, I would like to ask about your billing process. Okay. How much did you charge the Baron for your services?
That is quite a personal question. My rate varies according to the subject, the client, and the circumstances. I don't want to give an
inaccurate estimate, I guess. You are under oath, Monsieur Rabino.
Hold on, Falcon. Just because Monsieur Rabino is under oath doesn't mean that he has to answer every trivial question you fling his way. Does his photography rate have anything to do with the case at hand?
No, I suppose it doesn't. I was just curious.
Then maybe you ought to keep your curiosity to yourself while in the courtroom.
Did you build Baron Rogai and then immediately leave the scene?
That's right. I'm a busy artist, you understand? I had no time for dilly-dallying.
So you didn't witness the murder or the aftermath firsthand?
No. From what I understand, I left right before the housemaid went to investigate the garden.
That is a little suspicious, is it not?
Falcon, it is coincidental timing, maybe, but let's not throw out blind accusations.
Just to clarify, Monsieur Rabino, photographs are a direct reflection of reality, are they not?
That is correct. The photographic process leaves no room for bias or inaccuracies.
That is most curious, because I see a mistake.
A mistake? Impossible. I just told you, monsieur. The camera is a perfect, unbiased device. The photographs it produces are flawless. Falcon, I'm not seeing any mistakes. Perhaps you could be more specific?
Certainly. The clock in this photograph. There is something not right about it.
Well, isn't that convenient? The defense sees something wrong with the key piece of evidence that implicates his client.
Don't give me that cocky tone, Monsieur Ravington. I have evidence that there's something wrong with this clock in that picture. The photograph clearly shows the clock's hands pointing at 7 and 6.
Not much is self-evident.
Which is most curious, because the clock in the lounge of Chateau Crenier has no hands.
It has no hands?
The clock is merely a decorative piece, a talking item. Feel free to ask Baron Rogai or his housemaid if you have doubts. Monsieur Robino, how do you explain this discrepancy?
I don't know. There must be some sort of mistake. My camera is flawless.
There is no mistake, monsieur. Your photograph depicts something that does not exist in the real world.
Maybe there is an error in the printing process.
An error precisely where the clock's hand should be? Please, monsieur, don't patronize us. Allow me to offer a more plausible explanation. You, Monsieur Robino, edited this photograph.
Edited?
I'm no expert, but I suspect that you used paint or ink to carefully put hands upon the clock. It would have been a simple task, considering that the clock face was bare. One could even speculate that you specifically chose to include a handless clock in the photograph just to simplify the editing process.
Falcon, your reasoning is absurd. Why would the witness do such a thing?
Is it not obvious? By showing the photograph to have taken place at precisely 7:30, it clears all the photograph subjects of suspicion. In other words, Monsieur Robino created a perfect alibi. Of course, this raises further questions. Who is the witness protecting? And why? Was Monsieur Robino coerced, bribed, threatened? Enough silence. Let's hear some answers, Monsieur Robino.
Fine. You got me. I'm guilty. I did it all.
You did it? You're confessing to the murder of Monsieur Granois?
What? No. I have no idea who killed the frog. I'm just admitting that I'm guilty of producing fraudulent photographs. I was ordered to make changes to the printed photographs. And yes, that included adding hands to the clock.
You were ordered? By whom?
I dare not say.
Monsieur Robino, I strongly advise you to answer the defense's question. You have pledged to speak without fear, after all.
With respect, Judge, I fear his claws more than I fear the punishment of the justice system. I shall name no names. His claws? Did you hear that, Falcon?
That is most unfortunate. Monsieur Robino, we cannot and shall not torture names out of you. We don't live under the ancient regime, after all. Well, since you have admitted to falsifying evidence, then we cannot keep you on the stand as a witness. Take your leave. You shall be charged with perjury in due course. I can't protest. This is the least I deserve for my failure as an artist. Good day, messieurs. Gained a little favor with the jury. Alright, well, I'll call it there.